I just had to cover a full moon movie for one of these. I could have watched Meridian or Shifter, but no. For some goddamn reason I chose to watch Werewolf Reborn. This is part of the Reborn series from Full Moon, where they would remake movies based on classic monsters like the Wolfman and Frankenstein and so forth. And I gotta say, this movie basically feels like some really lame Goosebumps episode. We follow a girl who has recently traveled to go visit her uncle and stay with him for a while because her parents are at some sort of convention, but she gets there and she's a total Karen to this guy who works at the train station. He eventually tells her the path to her uncle's, and she arrives outside the property where some locals are waiting outside to give her a message to pass along to her uncle and leave. So she finally goes up to the place and finds out that he sent a letter that was lost in the mail, explaining that he couldn't really watch her and he needs to send her back immediately. So he takes her back to the train station where the locals insinuate there's a reason he's trying to send her back. The uncle gets defensive to their claims and takes her back to his estate where he locks her in a room with no food. That night he turns into a werewolf and some of the locals form a mob and they're out looking for him. He kills one of them. There's a funny part where they have a single hound sniffing around, but they layer the audio to make it sound like there's multiple dogs barking. You can tell that they could only afford one dog for the scene. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so the wolf is shot and makes its way back to its estate where his niece has escaped from the room and tries to help her uncle when she returns. She watches his bullet wounds disappear before the police show up and arrest him. They lock him up and plan to send his niece home on the train the next day. The locals who greeted her niece outside of her uncle's house earlier meet up with her and give her a gun with some silver bullets before taking her back to her uncle's estate. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the rest of the plot. I'm sure most of you could probably put the pieces together from here. It's pretty obvious that this movie doesn't do anything new or try to subvert expectations. It's also a short one, just clocking in just over 45 minutes. So if the idea of a safe, lame, low-budget werewolf movie with bad acting sounds like your cup of tea, drink up. Unfortunately, this one left a bad taste in my mouth. 2 out of 10.